Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today our video is on the Litehawk Blast and the l959, how to get more traction out of the rear end on the stock tires. You can apply this same stuff to the Litehawk Brute as well and see how it works on the Brute. Now my Litehawk Blast here is completely 100% stock setup. No modifications yet to this vehicle. Coming soon though. Anyway, so you can see that it's pretty bouncy rear end, and just in doing this, you can see how the back wheels jump off the ground. This loses you an awful lot of traction on pretty much every surface. Okay, this is a lousy suspension setup for this vehicle. It could really use some stiff springs, and we've talked about in other vehicles about adding some preload to help stiffen those up a bit more. You still got the bottom out effect happening though, really bad. It's still going to chassis slap like crazy, right? But the big thing is when you're going over bumps and stuff on the road, your suspension is actually doing this, right? So your rear end loses a lot of traction, which is why you spin out a lot. Okay, your front end is actually kind of nice and stiff. You know, it just rebounds right back and kind of reminds you of a real car. You push it down and pops off once, you know, that's normal. This extra vibration, no, that's definitely not normal. So this is my l959. Now I've modified my front steering. I haven't tried the car out yet with my front steering like this and the modification I did to the back, which is free. Just takes about 5 minutes of your time to do. But I've got a little bit more bounce here of a front end, which is actually what I wanted on this, because I wanted to take advantage of some front lean and so I could really get the tires to dig in more. But the other nice thing I've done with the free mod, now those tires don't come off the ground so easy. So this is going to aid in giving you more traction. Also, no bottoming out. Okay? There's still about 1/4 of an inch of distance there. Okay? My pliers fit under and I still got space. That's a good thing. Now, how does this happen? Okay, let me show you. There's a lot of different tuning angles you can play with your front end as well as on the rear. And this one, I left the suspension, the shocks, in the stock position. Okay, because that's where I wanted them. All I've altered was the angle on the outside of the back H-arm, and it normally sits on the very bottom. Okay, I'll show you that on the Blast so you can see the difference here. Now you'll notice the Blast is set up just like this. All I've done was basically drop it down one, okay, because there's only one adjustment. You also have adjustments here as well that you can mess with, which will do other things. You also have 3 position of adjustments for your tack angles on your shocks. So the stuff you do changes a whole lot of things. So it takes about 2 seconds. Well, not quite 2 seconds, but a couple of minutes to just do that little fix, and you're going to gain traction back. Now, it's not going to provide a ton of traction, but it is going to provide a lot more traction, so you shouldn't be able to spin out so easily. And taking these things apart is easy. Make sure you have a screwdriver that fits the head. I can't say this enough to people. Don't use a half-butted screwdriver, okay? Stock position is there. Pop the pin in, voila. Unscrew it, pull the pin, put it in. Go until it stops on its own. Only till it stops on its own, and just a little snug, just a little bit. This is ABS plastic. You don't want to refit or you're going to split parts on it, and yeah, you break stuff, you're going to have to replace it. And that's it. That's like a really easy, fast, free modification to your buggy. And like I said, you can do the same thing to the Litehawk Brute, also the l969, l979, and the l202 from wltoys. So, and also, by the way, your Propel Urban Renegade, the new one out from Propel, which is actually a Brute anyways, or an l969. So, simple, fast, easy, you know. If you want to leave your stock front suspension, the stock setup, so that it keeps that stiffness like this, no problem. It's not going to bottom out on the front no matter what you do. You're not going to get that front end to bottom out. But I wanted a little bit more bounce here, so when I rolled into the corners, I get a lot more dig. You know, it's going to give me more of an authoritative dig, you know, which is nice. You know, but if you want a little bit less dig, leave the shock spread out. You can also manipulate your bottom end here on the outside of your control arm, and you can manipulate your A-arm angle as well. Yep, A-arm angle can be manipulated, and of course your steering rod links. You can manipulate them from the outside. Now, if you move the position of your steering links on the outside, it does cause the wheels to toe in a bit, which may or may not work out for you. But if you toe them in, then you have to change the angle for correction on your A-arm or down below. It's kind of a really messed up mathematics, but you know, you don't want them towing in too far, but you don't want them, you know, out like this either too much. So, but anyways, so you can do quite a bit there as well for messing around. But just to get you some extra weight on the back end, because that's what this is essentially it's doing, is it's giving you a little bit more weight, and you're not going to bottom out. And when you do hit bumps and that on the road, your tires will tend to stay on the road better. See, these tires, they don't have foam inserts, and even if they did, wouldn't matter. The tires will still balloon out a bit when you're doing higher speeds, right? But otherwise, you're technically just riding on the top edges until you're going really super fast. And you can't run these things or any of the higher hobby grade stuff full throttle all the time, because that's when you start blowing stuff, you know. So 3/4 throttle, you can do that consistently, you know, but full throttle, no. But at 3/4 throttle, you're still going pretty zippy fast, you know, and the tires will balloon out a little bit. But I mean, these tires definitely are pretty crummy tires. I mean, even mine, the glue is just starting to let go. I'm going to have to actually go and re-glue my edges on these tires, you know. But I mean, these tires have had a lot of use on them, but they are still, excuse me, starting to wear. So I'm going to have to order another set for it. But I'm going to order a replacement stock set just to have them, and then I'm going to find myself a couple sets of tires. Maybe Traxxas or something might have a nicer type sand tire, you know, type of thing. I've tried, I've got a set of Traxxas sand flap tires, basically you call them. I don't know. I'll grab them and show you. That's what I call them, because they dig in really good. And these things are like solid air filled, you know. And these are called Ultra Grip 1404s, and they actually fit this car. And see, if you squeeze it too much, it'll keep its air, so I gotta get the air to circulate back through there again, and it'll puff back out. But anyway, so these tires, I tried them on there. They actually work pretty good, but these are older, and somebody tried to mod them once, so it was a little bit out of round. But there are a lot of other choices out there for tires. Is to find them and get something that fits right, you know. And you don't want to go like overly exploding big. I mean, you can. I mean, I put the Brute tires on the back of this thing and wheelie on demand, you know, and more control in some areas, but a lot less in others. So every modification you do is going to have, you know, consequences, good and bad, right? But otherwise, yeah, this is definitely going to create a little bit of extra traction. If you want a little bit more, then move your springs out a step each even, and that will also reduce the bounce that much more too. It'll take the bounce away and also aid in just giving you a little bit lower and still stop the bottoming out, and you get a lot different control out of this vehicle for sure. And every little tweak helps. That's definite. So anyways, let me know what your thoughts are and comments, and I'll do my best to answer your questions, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.